I'm happy to be here.
Yay, I'm going to play the music in because we're so professional.
It's a polka, you know.
It is a polka. Hi, Karl.
Hello.
Hi.
We're super excited to have you here.
Oh, it's great.
Dinner.
Yeah, dinner.
Yeah. Very
This is your actual dinner for tonight, right?
No, we're going to throw it out and have mac and cheese.
Let's just have a little box mac and cheese, you know.
No, I can't do it for anybody. I will tell you that since we've been on keto during Corona, I've experimented with other versions of mac and cheese, including cauliflower mac and cheese, which is delicious.
Yes, I've made that on the show before. It is really good.
Very good.
Especially if you put a little bacon in there. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, bacon.
sauce. You can put buffalo sauce in it. It's great.
So why did you go keto during Corona? What about Corona made you do that?
Well, when you're large, what better chance for a reveal when this is all over? The biggest reason without having to see anybody.
Yeah, that's right.
I know you can do some self makeovers at home.
I'm not gonna, I don't have to be the biggest loser right now. When we've got one in the White House, and by Corona's over, he will be long gone, hopefully, and some of my extra Karl will be long gone.
Cool. Well, we both worked on The Biggest Loser.
We did this last season. So
yes, I was the cue card girl.
Did it just say run? Run.
What's that?
Run.
Yeah, go. No, I held them for Bob. Just Bob.
Yeah.
Did you feel like keto was working for you? Do you like it? What's been your?
I'm not telling anybody what I've lost, but I've lost a good amount of weight. So
it's
when
working.
I will announce it. Yeah, keto works if you stick to it. I mean, a lot of people say it doesn't work for me. I did X, Y, and Z, and it's like, well, that's not that. To say it doesn't work. I'm sure it doesn't work for everybody actually. But for I will say, and I'm sure you will back me up, that dieting and losing weight is a lot easier for men. Physiologically, and so men have much more immediate success dieting if they stick to it. The pounds come off easier for larger people, especially if they're men. And so I've heard from some of my women friends that keto eventually starts working for them, but they don't necessarily get that first initial burst. Like I think I lost a significant amount that first week that would seem unhealthy. Yeah. So.
Well, good.
Well, Sandy Richards is saying hi to us. Hi, Sandy.
With my diet ginger ale.
There you go. So, Karl, we're going to have people that are chatting with us at the same time, and they might have questions. So,
all right.
We'll throw them at you.
Well, do you want to start with a question, or should I just get started?
Let's get started.
Yeah, what are you making?
All right, I'm going to turn the camera.
Look at him go, camera guy.
Look at, he's got it down. He's
better. All right. So we are making salad with fresh dressing, which is going to be a lemon vinaigrette. We're making roasted Brussels sprouts, which you can see here. And then in the sous vide, started a while ago, I've got 2 steaks, 2 ribeyes with white truffle butter. Cooking.
Oh man, can we come over to your house for dinner?
When it's safe.
No.
These are the types of
someday.
The kind of coffee you can pick up when you're home all the time. All right, so we're going to get started with the dressing.
Okay.
You always want to use good olive oil. If you're using olive oil, don't skimp on it.
Hello, we say that every day.
You can taste the difference. If you wouldn't eat it alone, you shouldn't put it in the food. It's not like booze, right? booze, you have a lot more latitude about what you can use booze for, right? There's certain booze you wouldn't mix with anything. So olive oil, you want to have good stuff. So we're going to start with half a cup of olive oil, extra virgin.
Okay.
Extra virgin. Hollywood.
Yes. Hollywood approve.
And then we're going to have some fresh squeezed orange juice. And just for the sake of the conversation, everything that I'm doing is organic here, unless it's not. And I'm not going to tell you if it is.
Wow.
Yay. We're all in.
We're applauding you right now.
So I
I don't see a lemon squeezy.
I cut off the ends of the lemon because it makes it easier to use the lemon press. And if you roll it around, it releases a lot of the juice inside before you even go for it. Then you cut it.
Debriana, I'm feeling so
lemon
validated
squeezy. You
I'm
do.
validated by everything Karl says and does because we believe all these things. We're so in sync, Karl, like politically and food-wise.
Look at the squeezy.
I went to some patron saints of the culinary world. Most probably Ina Garten, who's my favorite.
Yes.
Yes.
And America's Test Kitchen, which is my.
I love America's Test Kitchen.
Love it. We love it.
Herman and me, very Einstein, you know.
Yeah.
Science. We're all secret scientists in the kitchen.
All right, so then you want a quarter cup of fresh lemon juice.
Wow, Walt lost a lot of weight on keto. I see you saying that. The people have lost weight on keto. They're all chiming in.
Now, you may have noticed my first mistake. My first mistake was not zesting the lemon before I smushed it. So we're going to...
Oh, I didn't know you were going to zest it, or I would have asked you.
Get it off. So we're just going to get a little lemon zest. You need a microplane in your kitchen.
Yes.
For cheese.
We always have microplane.
Confirmations at every turn.
Peggy is beside herself. She's saying, yay, squeezy.
All right. Now we want to do a teaspoon of Dijon mustard.
Oh, yay.
Grape Poupon is always fine.
Who was it? Who was the politician that we were complaining about Dijon? Oh, it was Barack Obama in his first year. Everyone was saying something about the Grey Poupon. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's hard to remember all of the scandals of the Obama administration.
I know. The tan suit just did me in.
And now I'm going to do 2 minced cloves of garlic. So
remember Michelle's arms and the scandal with that?
Oh, yes. That was terrible.
All right. So
he's doing garlic. Yum.
You need garlic in almost any salad dressing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And
so
most recipes underestimate how much garlic you should put in a dish because of American taste buds. So I'm going to put like 1 extra clove than what they recommend.
That's a man after my own Italian heart.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to give it a good whack with the knife, the side of the knife.
Yes, that's the Italian way. Whack it.
There are other methods. I mean, this is like one of those fixes that everybody says they have, online, whether it's shaking it in a jar or whatever. This is the most standard way it works every time.
The Italian way. Whack it.
Karl, what kind of knives do you use? Do you have a favorite?
These are Wusthof.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Here's the trick about buying nice knives. Don't buy them full price ever. You want to find new sets for cheap on eBay.
Oh, hey, tip of the day.
People get them for their weddings, and then they will sell them online if they get an extra set or if they get something it was a different version than what they wanted.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey.
I got a $1,500 set of knives for way, less than a third of the cost.
Oh,
wow. Tip of the day.
I didn't know we were going to get these kind of tips today. This is awesome. You
didn't know that my dream had always been to host a cooking show. So.
Like you're on the kitchen.
before COVID, we have a local political show here, and I was talking to the producer long before COVID. I said, I'd love to have a show where I just cook with a different elected official in the area, and we do like record a bunch of them in one pass. That's a very big flow, so we're just going to do one.
Carl, I'm a TV producer. That's a really great idea.
It is. Because the truth is, we always say #food is love, and most people can all get along over a meal. At least come together about something while they're eating.
Debrianna, it might be the last thing on planet Earth people can come together on.
It might be the only thing, you don't want to necessarily talk politics or whatever. So, if you're an elected official in a local area, you're always talking about the same stuff over and over and over again, right? So now we're adding a little bit of salt with like half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Kosher is different than table salt. I think everybody should know that. I'm gonna like eyeball about a quarter of a teaspoon of fresh cracked pepper. You should never
eyeballs it. He eyeballs it, people.
You should never buy.
He's not measuring.
You should never buy pepper that's already been ground. It's almost pointless unless you're doing like a comedy prank where you're trying to get somebody to sneeze.
I agree.
All right, and now we whisk.
Okay. Well, Lisa's sister Holly is on our show every Tuesday, and she has a company called Holly's Homegrown, and she talks every week about fresh herbs, and she makes her own salts and olive oils, flavored olive oils and vinegars. So you should check it out.
There it is.
Oh, gorgeous!
Oh, that looks like textbook vinaigrette.
I mean, I'm critical, but the garlic could have been a little bit finer, but nobody's paying attention. So.
Well, it's not like you're having guests.
Right. Evan matters. Evan
matters. I'm going to do that. #Evan matters.
All right. Now we're going to prepare the Brussels sprouts. First tip of Brussels sprouts: make sure they're roughly the same size. When you buy them, you could see a bag that looks good, but it might have like 10 of them that are giant, and then the rest of them are golf ball size. Try to go for the golf ball size ones because they taste better. They're not as bitter.
That's right.
Excellent tip. Yet again.
So you want to cut off the end, the root end. You want to slice them in half. And when you do cut off the end and slice them in half, you usually lose the outside layer of leaves, which is perfectly fine.
Well, for me, they go right into the compost bin.
Yeah.
So they're never wasted. Or I put them in my freezer, in the freezer soup bag.
Yes, she does.
Depending on the quality, if they're all mangled or whatever, or if they look like they've seen better days, you can also just put them on the tray with the Brussels sprouts, and you end up getting these really tasty, like Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, crispy bits.
I just eat them. I just put them in there.
Yeah.
Crispy bits. We like the crispy bits.
It's all about texture.
Yep.
Brussels sprouts. It's a proper noun.
Are you proud of me that I spelled it correctly on your post?
Yes. Thankfully, the computer always corrects me. It reminds you where it's from, right? So, my mother made Brussels sprouts frequently when I was growing up, and I don't know if it was a thing that nobody thought about roasting them until after the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s had happened. My memory is that they were always steamed and covered in cheese. And I'm not a cheese person. Will eat it on things, but my philosophy is if you have to cover it in cheese, you're cooking it wrong. The feature of the dish is the cheese, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Money on Brussels sprouts if the feature is the cheese.
Was it American cheese?
I don't remember.
I had a babysitter who boiled them only and put them on salt, and I grew up hating them. And then,
really?
And then, like you said, later on, I started roasting. This whole world of Brussels sprouts opened up.
Well, that's the thing is, my mom was a great cook. But one thing I didn't.
I love them steamed. I love them steamed with butter and pepper and salt.
Steaming is such a different.
Yeah. Oh, Sandy says hers were steamed. I like them that way.
You just don't want to over.
No, you don't need more than 90. You don't need more than 90 to steam broccoli or whatever. In fact,
now, did you learn to cook from your mom?
I mean, I learned certain dishes. I didn't start doing this regularly until I didn't have. There's a difference, like, you know. Sorry, I might hear myself talk. Every time I say, I hear myself. I forgot what I was saying.
That's how did you learn to cook?
So, like, confidence cooking. Like, I would cook things like until I knew that that was disgusting and hard. I would cook things that were expensive because I was afraid of wasting the money. But I learned a failed way of doing cooking and just regular chicken breast, and I had a lot of confidence. You know, it's easy.
Yeah.
You know, something that you cooked before and many I've done these times, so it's not like it's. I mean, the kitchen was
Yeah, I think that's part of why we do this too, is to try and give people confidence to cook and just go ahead and just jump in there, and we call it a judgment-free zone.
It is also the same during COVID. It's so much cheaper eating out.
Yes.
It's a time to try things and
All right. So
all kinds of things. Hal's learning Mandarin. Hal Sparks is learning Mandarin.
I mean, starts off with he already knew quite a bit of. He's going to woodshed himself and come out with many more talents than any of us have ever expected him to.
It's true.
Some Brussels sprouts. Now I'm going to remove the cutting board because we're done with that. Oh, you know what I forgot for the dressing? Fresh thyme.
What?
Yay!
Oh, nice! Yay! We've been talking about time for the last, what, feels like 3 days.
Last 3 days.
That's a long time.
All the time. Ha ha.
All right. So we're going to remove the first cutting board.
Oh, Sandy Richards is saying she's coming over to your place for dinner.
That went too far. All right. So now you have a rimmed baking sheet, and I put parchment paper on top instead of. They have the I have those things that you put down, but they don't.
Yeah.
You want.
Oh, cool. I don't have those, and I've often wondered about them, but I always use parchment paper.
They're perfectly good. Parchment paper is a little bit more wasteful. You're going to get a better color.
I agree.
Yeah.
Where to go?
And for cookies, you can reuse the parchment paper sheet a couple times. Yeah. Not with this, you won't be able to because of the olive oil, but
maybe a tablespoon and a half on half a pound of
maybe
olive oil. Maybe
is also a very exact cooking term.
Yes. No more than a tablespoon on a pound. And then
so on keto, you don't measure the oil?
You can. I mean, like I said, I've made this many times. I follow the recipes almost to usually. But I also know that I'm using
restriction on oil
when
you're on keto. You're not.
It's also about the type of oil. So, like, for salad, you might use avocado oil instead of.
I gotcha. Okay.
So for then you can see these. You want to do half a teaspoon, half kosher salt.
Okay.
And a few cracks of black pepper. You're gonna wash your hands.
Hashtag wash your hands.
We've gotten really good at washing your hands these days.
You're gonna find your towel. And then you're gonna get dirty.
Yeah, baby. Get your hands in there.
Yeah, you got to get your hands in there.
And then you're going to spread it out. If you can create distance between the crustals, that's great because they are the less they'll brown.
Yeah.
If they're too close, they steam each other.
That's right.
Which, by the way, is the same principle. If you have chicken breast in a pan,
Yep.
I have preheated the oven.
Okay. Oh, look at him. Turn the camera.
Good. Yummy.
What is the oven on, Carl?
400.
Okay.
Those were a little on the small side for 15 minutes.
Okay. Look at that T-shirt. Yay.
The chip pan inside, but out for Biden.
Right. Everybody's inside.
Yeah. A little bit of time until things are done, but one thing that you can do for salad, I have salad bowls in the freezer.
Ah, cool.
It just adds to the experience and it makes the salad a picture for you.
Yeah.
This is Parmesan, and you want to grab a vegetable peeler, and you're going to, rather than grating the Parmesan, and you need to get ready, like you're full Parmesan cheese and because there is the stuff that you do pre-grated has a lot of filling. Gotta be careful.
Yep. So I want to see the sous vide machine.
All right.
When you're done shaving.
And I also explain what the sous vide is to people who do not know.
Okay. So a sous vide is like a water bath. And let me just put this back in the fridge. What it does is it cooks over a long period of time. It brings whatever you're cooking, in my case, almost always meat. It brings the meat up to the desired temperature. So if you're used to cooking a steak in the oven, you might put the oven on 425 degrees, right, for X number of minutes. Never eat something that actually is 400 degrees.
Right.
What you're trying to do, you're bombarding to bring the center of the meat to the temperature, right?
Right.
The safe temperature. What a sous vide machine does is slowly, without exposing the meat to too much heat, it brings the entire piece of meat up to the temperature that you want it to be at without going overboard. So if you put a steak in half and cook in the oven, sometimes you'll see a gray ring around the pink part of the steak. That's because you hit that exterior with so much heat to get the middle cooked to the point that you want it. The reason that you don't get that when you get a steak at the restaurant, because you're cooking it in something like this usually. And so this is how it starts.
Cool. I want a sous vide machine.
So if you buy a sous vide machine, I strongly suggest that you also buy a vacuum sealer. It's easier. You can put the meat into a top bag if you force the air out, but you really don't want the meat floating to the top because it won't get even cooked. So you start with meat that's been vacuum sealed. And before you vacuum seal it, you're going to season it. So in our case, you want to include a little fat and then salt and pepper, right? If you're cooking pork, you can. I don't believe in ruining a steak, but you could use other spices if you wanted to. But for pork chicken, you might do thyme and rosemary, a lemon slice, whatever you normally cook. So for a steak, I did Florida salt, which is sea salt. You want to use more salt than your cooking in it.
Yeah.
And for these ones, you might put like a teaspoon of butter, or if you have a specialty grocery store, I think both of them might sell it now. I like to put in a little bit of white truffle butter, like a half a teaspoon or a full teaspoon per steak. And just really makes it sing. And what's crazy is if you invest in, we were talking about this before we began, buying frozen meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
The presumption is that it's not going to taste as good as the real, like the fresh thing. Well, the odds are that the steak that you're buying in the grocery store that is not frozen was at one point frozen. And what your goal is not whether it's frozen or not frozen, it's how you're going to cook it and prepare it in the best way for that meat. And so if it's frozen, a sous vide is the best way to bring it from frozen to the temperature that you want without overcooking it. A lot of people will try and defrost their meat before cooking it, but defrosting is cooking, right? If you put it in cold water, it's probably the next closest thing, but that takes a long time to do. You have to replace the water.
Yeah, that's what I do actually.
With a sous vide, you don't have to worry about that. You season it, you vacuum seal it, you put it in the machine. So for a normal steak that's not frozen, you might take an hour to get it to medium rare.
Oh, really?
135 to 135 on the machine. And it maintains a consistent temperature, which is why it's able to bring it up to the temperature without much deviation. If it's frozen, you'll just add. It's going to be different for each cut of meat. When you get a steak.
Stick your head down so we can see you. Where's your head? There's your head. Yeah.
If you defrost another way, then you're left with all kinds of other variables, right? If you're trying to defrost while you're cooking in an oven, you're just going to end up with something that you ate in college.
No, you can't do that.
No, you will end up.
I usually end up. I put it in water. That's how I get it to room temperature.
It's just it takes a lot more. Like with this, you can walk away from it until it's dinner time. Right? If you're defrosting some chicken breasts or steaks in the, you have to replace the cold water every 50 minutes until it's defrosted. So right now, I've got in there salt, truffle butter. They've been in there for an hour. What time is it?
How do you check the temp? How do you check it though? Can you check the temperature of the meat, or how do you know when it's done?
By the time that it's been in there, you will get when you buy a sous vide, you get instructions on how long it takes to cook something. The news is you're never going to overcook it. So adding in 30 minutes is not going to overcook it.
That's good. Wow, that's interesting.
4 hours, right? But, if the instructions say it's 2 hours for a steak, whatever temperature, medium rare, well done, whatever. Because you're just based on how long does it take to get a steak that's X inches thick to the temperature you desire. If you're starting the market where you look at and put it until it was at 150 until the water was 137. Slowly, the water is now bringing the temperature of the meat up to 170, which should take roughly 2 hours. We should be there soon.
It's sort of like in a way, it feels like it's a water bath microwave.
Yes, only you're not
the whole thing.
A very low temperature. You can put your hand in there. It's going to be very warm.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Now, cooking pork or chicken, it's much higher temperature. But you have to get a higher temperature on the face. Or 160 something on chicken, 55 on pork.
Yeah. And then you just brown it afterwards, right? Like
I just use cast iron. You put you might put like a sprinkling of cooking oil on there. Warm. You heat it up. You each side for like a minute. And you get some kind of texture.
Cool.
That's how they do it in the restaurant. Not how Well, and it's one thing to think of it, but a lot of people think of it fish. A lot of afraid of making it dry. Same principle applies. You will not cook meat. You will not if you eat in a sous vide, regardless of it's frozen or regardless of it's frozen.
Wow!
Yay! Wow. Well, we just had a big lesson and some tips on where to get knives.
Well, and you should also shop around for food. It's a couple years old, but
yes,
you can find them on eBay. You can find them on eBay. You can always sales. I would say do your research. I would say do your research. I want people to buy whatever America's test.
Yeah. Yep. I like them too. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Well, I know today, but I would love to know some handful of things that are on your mind right now. We can't not ask.
I didn't think that you said. I'm getting a lot of.
I just wanted to ask you what was on your mind politically now. Do you have anything you want to talk about or share? Pertinent?
I think something about what's on my mind.
Yeah, what's on your mind politically right now?
Okay, sorry. I'm getting a lot. I'm getting double. When I talk, I hear myself.
Oh no!
And when Lisa talks, I hear her, and then I hear me responding while she's talking too. Yours is not weird for some reason, Brianna.
Weird.
Yeah.
So this is like our lives during I used to feel really bad if we were having tech issues, but every time I watch MSNBC for any time longer than an hour, somebody else is having a tech problem right now.
Oh yeah. I believe that the catchphrase of the year is, "Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yeah.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?"
I mean, if I
can anyone hear me?
Every time that I've heard that on a conference call, which by the way, I basically sit in front of a webcam all day long now.
Yeah.
And when I was in my 20s, people said that was going to be how it was going to be. It's not nearly as glamorous as they made it look.
Yes.
But in terms of what I'm thinking about, I'm wondering what who Joe Biden's going to pick for VP. Heard that it's going to happen in the next early.
Yep.
I'm a delegate, and they usually announce the VP. The average is 60, which is still a few weeks away. So I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised who it is. I get to work with them both. So that's one thing.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited. You know what? He could pick my cat, and I wouldn't care. But I am excited to find out who it is. I'm just excited because I'm a political junkie, and that excites me. But I really think that this election is so about saving our democracy that a tomato soup can. We were talking about that tomato soup can 2020. I don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's I'd be all for it. It might lose. Whoever Biden picks, I'm a Biden president, and I would like. I think he will.
Yeah.
Names seen around in most around.
I'm excited.
I love Kamala Harris. I love Kamala Harris. I love it. There's no shortage of it.
No shortage of great people.
So she must be a good person. Yeah.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Can't wait.
So, are you going to be finishing the steaks now, or are you going to finish them later and post them up afterwards?
I can do either. Let me just take a peek.
Okay. He's peeking.
They probably need another 15 minutes.
Okay.
We'll be pulling the Brussels sprouts out in like a minute now.
Cool. So you can just post a picture of the finished. We usually post a picture of the finished dish.
All right.
On Karl Kitchen, so everyone can see it.
I'm happy
and then if you have the recipe, the vinaigrette would be great.
A minute and a half on Biden.
Okay, perfect. I'm jealous. I want to taste it.
It looks like it's going to be so good. You're so masterful. You've done it so many times, and you know exactly what you're going to get.
Well,
Yeah.
I got it started. I was in a school board meeting for most of the day, and then got the read machine going for me.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us in Corona Kitchen.
My pleasure.
We love you. Yeah.
All right.
We'd love to have you back, and we'll cook something else.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Maybe after the.
All right. Say hi to Evan.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. I'm going to play us all out now because I'm so happy.
Are you going to put the banner on, Debriana?
Oh, yes. Here's the banner. I will show it while we're playing. This is how you can get in touch with Karl. And I will play us out.
It's like master.
Oh, dude. Thank you.
Is Laura Linney going to pop up?
It's a weird song.
I know. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out.